All right. Check. Yes, we check. All right, go ahead.
Thankfully, the TV's low too.
I know.
We was talking about, you know how certain people, like celebrities and stuff, people only know the celebrity by the character, but they don't know the actual person out of the character. They don't know the actual real person.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching, Dawson White.
Mm-hmm. I know Dawson.
Yeah. He was talking, did you watch that interview he talked about when he was at Nipsey Hussle funeral? How he met the person outside of Nipsey Hussle, not the Nipsey Hussle. Everybody knows.
He met the real dude.
Yeah. And, and that's the state of mind right there, because certain people don't know certain people outside of that. They only know the person, the character portrayed what they see on TV or social media or radio and stuff like that. So you only hear about what's portrayed about a person, what you see about, but you don't know the actual person, real person, their name. And it's so funny because I was, another thing I was laughing about, I was watching, you know how the Undertaker had his podcast and stuff, and he had Bubba Ray W on, and Bubba said something about, he enjoyed that documentary of watching the Undertaker. Not the Undertaker, the person behind Mark Calloway. He said, I want to meet that person. I want to meet that guy. So it's so rare with that, how certain, celebrities only get portrayed about what people see them by, but don't know actually the real person.
Well, see, the thing is I think the problem, well, it's not really a problem, it's just that 90% of people will never be able to get into the world of the celebrity quote. Why? Most people won't get a chance to interact with a celebrity unless you just so happen to cross by them, or you just so happen to be in the venue where you so happen to get a handshake or something. And even in those venues, a lot of people only know them in character, at character, and that's fine. They don't know what happens behind stage at a wrestling event. They don't know what happens behind the scenes when these artists are recording. They don't know what's happening on movie sets. You know who knows? Me. Yeah. So you're asking the right one. Yeah. Because I've been in front of celebrities and know their real names. And a lot of times, the reason why I don't refer to a lot of people by their real names, because they don't, they really don't want me to refer to them as the real name on camera unless I ask them, like, look, it's cool to say your real name. Yeah. Now, I told you, I met...
Are they vampires?
No, it's not even that. It's that they have to keep up with the name and image is what keeps celebrity, if that makes sense.
No. I'm totally agree with that. So, and that's a problem too, because, when you try to protect your... not only your fame, but your status of everything, and you always get portrayed about, he ain't the real person. How do you know that? You don't know that person. You only know him for what you see.
So that's the thing, because people only know what they see from the celebrity, or what they have to do. They don't see these people on the day-to-day. You're not interacting with these people when they go to a Target to go pick up some stuff. You're not talking with these people when they're out there with their kids hanging out at Disneyland or Knott's Berry Farm, or, you're not hanging with these people.
Say something.
Listen, basically, they know the map.
A little bit just for the,
Yeah,
I got to look up. But right now, just speak up while we're
But they know the mask, not the face.
Right.
And I think that's the problem with a lot of... is this the right term? Parasocial relationships?
Yes, and parasocial... So, that goes into what I was going to say next. Was when you said this, it goes into... a different variation of celebrity, if that makes sense. So you have your traditional celebrity, your music people, movie people, your athletes, people like that. That's a section of celebrity. And that's like traditional celebrity. Your newer celebrities are who? Your Kai Cenat, Flyboy Max, Asmongold,
I actually like that.
for, I ain't gonna mention old boy's name because he trying to lawsuit everybody, ain't mention his name. Ways critical. I mean, we could talk about that, but I ain't trying to. But what I mean by that is,
real quick. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say that they're celebrities too. That's what I wanted to get to. So, but they are known by name, but the only difference is that they feel like they're more accessible because they feel like you can get closer to them because you see them do things in real world in real time, so they're more real to what a celebrity would be. But you still don't see them 24 hours a day unless they literally show it to you. That makes sense. Now go to your point. Sorry, I want to make sure I got that out.
Yeah.
Go ahead, keep going.
So you watch Asmongold, right?
Asmongold's alright, and they're going somewhere.
Would you consider Asmongold bald?
Would I consider him bald?
Would you consider Asmongold bald? I'm serious.
Balding. Kind of like your boy.
I'm tip of the iceberg myself,
But
all men. Don't worry, all men will be bald before 2040.
That one doesn't have to click on it. Just keep it close to you, or you can just sit it right here. It's fine. They'll pick it up. But so Asmongold is an example. Yeah, he's a YouTuber, gamer turned YouTuber, basically. And he basically, for all intents and purposes, he is basically like what I call in short, he's like a glorified newscaster. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, what I would want to say is the key difference between then and now is the chat. People are able to interact with him direct.
Yes.
I mean, granted, yeah, it's like thousands of people asking questions all at the same time or spouting nonsense.
True.
But that interaction right there is what changes the game. It's what has changed the game.
Exactly.
Because if you want to build a certain kind of celebrity, you have to take, consideration of what it is you're going to put out with product to take that. So when you get an interest in fairness in certain individuals, they'd be interested in what anything you have to say, especially on
for better or worse. The difference between your YouTubers and Twitch streamers versus your music, movies, and like sports people is literally accessibility. That's the difference. You don't have access to Drake, but I guarantee you, if I go to Texas, I could go find Asmongold, Nick, Catchy, I could get to them. Meaning that I could find them interacting and basically run into them and say what's up. But the problem is that a lot of people who don't know how to handle these people, they're still celebrity just because they're on a different platform. That doesn't take away their celebrity. They are still Asmongold, 4 million deep in subscribers. I'm gonna tell you right now, 4 million deep in subscribers is equivalent of being a low. I would say that is a low AR, meaning that he can literally walk around his neighborhood and be recognized by a lot of people. And the thing is, in most cases, I'm going to tell you right now, even though he doesn't have time, he literally has to walk with security. Sounds like a celebrity, right? He literally has to have people around him. Why? Because he's been out on his own. He would get jumped, mobbed. He would get jumped because they know he's about something. He would get mobbed because his fans would rock with him because they love him. And this is the thing why with a lot of these YouTubers and Twitch streamers and stuff, as they get popular, TikTokers included in this mix.
Twitch are probably really strict on a lot of things.
But which is and I want to address that we can because that is a story within itself. But because there's a lot of things that you can and can't do that's gotten a lot of these people in trouble. And here's the other thing. You know how strong you are as a YouTuber and Twitch streamer when you have regular news outlets covering. When you got TMZ covering your stuff, oh no, you're strong enough. TMZ don't cover people unless you know that you're strong enough. They treat these people like celebrities. The difference is traditional celebrity, Nipsey's, all them people. You know what's key about them? You never really had true access to them unless you were like me, who had the honor to be in these circles. And I'm not saying it's like that for better or worse.
No.
There is a distinction nowadays where saying traditional celebrities feels accurate, but more like old world. Old world way of things. I mean, the old world in the sense of late night TV, or when the theater was actually really a place of entertainment, not like what it is now. So basically old world celebrities where you are only known if you were on the big screen or this screen above us, not a phone screen. Phone screens weren't considered celebrity status. But nowadays, that's what most modern celebrities are. Social media, YouTube, Twitch, Blue Sky, Twitter, all that stuff.
And here's the thing. Why do you think it's hard for the traditional celebrities to match up to why do you think the traditional celebrities have to go to your quote-unquote new celebrities now? There's a big reason.
Because they never anticipated they'd have to adapt.
Yes, they never anticipated adaptability. So it's crazy when you have to have your music artists go see these platforms. No. So it's crazy when your music people got it.
Heavenly Father, thank you for the mercy of this meal, thank you for the mercy of this time and the grace of this day, for watching over us, Lord, through the night. But may we not be watched over, Lord, but also watch your will, your words, your spirit, your Son, Lord. Be aware of your presence and to know who you are, trust in who you are. And through that trust, may obedience be blessed. And may you be pleased by the fruit of your own labor, Lord, and those who claim your protection. In Christ's name we pray.
Amen. So, it's hard for celebrities, the old school celebrities, to adapt in this new world. It's going to go to your question that you had asked for, that you had talked about last time. And it kind of ties in perfectly, and we're going to get there.
We get there when we get there.
Yeah, we're going to get there. Hold on. We're going to take a sidebar for like, let me go for coffee and hold on. Let me get my coffee, right? Old man bar.
We're enough picked up enough.
I'll be enough. And there's more in there.
How's everything sure, man? Well, of course, you gotta be able to see.
But yeah.
Yeah. So your music people have to adapt to your traditional, your new school type people. That's important. And the reason why it's important is because the old school celebrities didn't have to adapt. You know what they have to be now? Something that they never had to be before. Accessible. They never had to be accessible. Thank you, I appreciate you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
They never had to be accessible until right now. So now they have to be accessible. Why? Because they can create the drama, they can create the controversy, all that stuff. Here's where it becomes tricky. Leads into one story, going to connect into another story. So the reason why it becomes tricky is because for a lot of these celebrities, especially the ones who are not used to the celebrity life, especially like your YouTubers, Twitch streamers, things like that, now the antics and stuff that you think don't have consequences have consequences. The stuff that, you think that, well, I can just go into a regular Target and shop. I could go into like Santa Monica and go hang out. I could go to downtown Long Beach and go hang out. When you're celebrity enough, you can't do that. When people start knowing who you are, that stuff goes away. Because now your safety's out there. There was an incident where a couple of female Twitch streamers that were out of Santa Monica, their fans kind of saw them, recognized who they were, basically followed them because they're on camera and they're showing where they are, followed them, basically stalked them down, and they got scared and stuff, and they didn't have no real line of security, and it was a problem. That's kind of the day and age where you're in, where it becomes different. The reason why it's important that, the reason why both worlds need to merge, because both worlds need to be able to understand both sides of the equation.
Because they should know better,
No, but they don't, but you gotta remember, a lot of them aren't used to it.
Yeah.
People get to celebrity and they get it so fast, especially in this YouTube, TikTok, Twitch era. You can get to celebrity pretty quickly here. Us sitting down right here, I ain't gonna say it's a risk, but we're known, and like I said, somebody runs up on us. Don't get cute. Don't get cute.
But it's not that.
Don't get cute. But in the same conversation, piece, that's what I'm saying. You won't get us. It's another thing. Don't get it. I'm nice with my hands and feet. Don't let the old small frame fool you. Don't let them. Don't do that. But being a celebrity, you know that at any point in time when you're known enough, you have to be paying attention to them. And that's one of the things that the traditional celebrities have gotten already used to, because they had handlers around them to begin with to keep them used to. Now, do I agree with all the methods that the old school people do? No, absolutely not. But
now give us some examples of those methods.
So, instead of hiring traditional security, they're going to hire their friend, aka the neighborhood thuggers, in order to protect. Why is that a problem? Because once you start bringing that element with you to other places, in other cities, in other states, the reason why they came up with this whole check-in conversation is because you're bringing your entourage into our neighborhood, and y'all just think y'all just gonna just run over here, think everything's cool.
See what happened where, he de-escalated that situation before he went who was it,
Young Dolph and some of them others did. But see, what I'm saying is that you can't do that. Female celebrities can't just trolley around and just be out in the open. There is a reason why, like your Kim K's, your, Naked Goods and all that, they can't just roll around any which way with no celebrity, with no security around them at this point, or with some sort of sense of people around them to protect them. Why? Just celebrity, they would get mobbed. They can't walk around regularly, they would get mobbed every single time they walk. Or you get some random stalker on it. YouTubers, so your Senna, Valky Rays, all of them, just those top tier names, shout out to all of them, of course. Same thing, they can't mob around like everything's cool anymore. They have to mob around with security and safety. That's where they had to learn from each other to make that happen. Before, they would not mob around with security and stuff until something happened. Now, they can't pull out of their house. You gotta remember, when you're worth more than half the celebrities out there, there's YouTubers who are worth $1 million a month. $1 million a month is what they average. That's a lot of bread. You gotta remember, just on that alone is something. And if you're a female, think about all the people who are lusting after them, want to get with them, all that stuff, and they don't do any opportunity just to even get a hug. goes to the first story. That's what happened at TwitchCon.
Where are we going for? I need to do this one. Please focus on the back row.
Diet Coke.
Yeah, I saw
Talk,
that.
we'll get to that TwitchCon in like 2 seconds. Hold on.
Come back to the shit.
Like the waffles were really good. Oh, don't forget to put a syrup over there.
Oh, hell yeah. Sweetness for my sweetness.
But
What about it?
here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
Well, all that, I mean, you got to think about it. You, like Cam says, you have to be careful of certain areas you go, especially when you are talking about celebrity.
How about
Because when you're around that certain element, you're around that certain bread, and they know that. And when you got something that certain people want, they're going to take that risk on it too,
And
as well.
sometimes you will just get flipped simply because you are a celebrity. They will be, they just want to do it if they can. It's just like certain people will chase after these female celebrities, especially like some YouTubers who are just now getting to that point because they can. It's crazy like that.
Like, name a female celebrity who can do their chase the most.
Brian Emma Watson.
Take any A-list. Any A-list.
Megan Thee Stallion is really.
She would get, you want to know why Megan Thee Stallion won't get chased? Look who she's with now.
Yeah.
So here's...
You with the ball, but that goes into the Go ahead.
We're talking about all this, right? So I'm assuming you both know what a VTuber is, right? So I think one of the things is the prominent rise in that is that, it's all the fame without any of the personal hassle. Because, as a VTuber, it's just an animated character on a screen that people can interact with live. Right? Which I think one of the reasons they rise in prominence, popularity is because that person gets to pretty much keep their personal life without the two. Excuse me, crossing over. I didn't say it was perfect.
Two reasons why VTubers started to rise a little bit. One is, a couple. One, the AI has gotten good enough so they can kind of do this the right way, rather than issues part like animated like characters and stuff.
Yeah, the rigging.
Yes. Two, kind of what you said, to kind of protect their identity, but that's the problem. So when you're dealing with these people who are VTubing, a lot of times you don't know if they're a guy, girl, it, which is the problem.
I think that's hilarious.
Three, no, I'm being dead serious.
No, I know, you're dead serious. That's what.
Three is because a lot of the U.S.'s fascination with anime ties into all this. That's the three reasons why VTubing exists, because these people can hide. They know that they have people who are who like anime, and it's like they don't have to be like, well, I don't have to like identify. I could change my voice so a person who you think is a female is really not is actually a dude with a voice changer. Yeah, no, I'm being dead serious. I'm being dead serious. But why are they doing that? Why are they so afraid? It's not the fact that they're afraid of being a celebrity. They're afraid of coming out to be really who they are.
But Cam, explain to the world what you mean by you have to check in on certain elements of what you go to. I don't think people really understand that.
Break it down for the kids.
That point of view right there. Or why is it important you have to check in when you go to certain areas?
So, it's not the fact of, here's the thing, I'm going to be honest with you. You don't have to check in. But, you do need to be aware of any area that you go to. You can't just pull up into a lot of areas, think that you could go into, especially the urban areas, and think that everything's cool. You can't just set up shop. Like, you can't go into, there's certain places, even in our area, that we really can't pull up to without knowing that it's cool. Why? Because our safety would be at risk because we know the people, we know like the the gang demographic. We know like some of the hood procedures that goes around even in our neighborhood. We're in California. We know this already. So there's even certain places that we couldn't pull up. And we live out here. And we can explain to them, yo, we live out here, everything's cool. But there's certain places we just can't sit down and have a podcast at. Even if we want to. Even if that place had a popping restaurant. We still couldn't pull up there. Why? Because we have to make it known that we ain't gonna do nothing. We're just here doing this. Everything's good. You dap a couple of people up. You keep it moving.
What you also got to remember is that association doesn't automatically mean permission.
Right. And the thing is that you have to be okay really to protect yourself. And that's what it comes down to. You really got to make sure that you're safe in all aspects. And the further out you go, the more that conversation piece is going to be. So a lot of people will be like trying to go fly overseas. Do stuff in Thailand, do stuff in the Philippines, do stuff in China, do stuff in Japan. And they think everything's cool. It ain't cool. You'll mess around and be like certain people, you can find yourself in jail. I just heard a story about this young lady these ladies who were in Mexico riding by herself. And she got hemmed up, and they got hemmed up by the police. Why? Basically, police took all the cash they had.
Was that the boat or the cartel?
No, it was police. So the police, they had a carload. They were
might as well just from the cartels.
So they had they were in a carload. There was 2 carloads of them. They got stopped by the police, and they were going to take them all to jail. They didn't do anything wrong. Only thing they said was you were riding with too many people, which they weren't, but technically they were in their eyes. And they were going to put them in jail, and all they asked for was, we want money. They tried to shoot them $60, and that wasn't enough. So basically the police put them on a curb, made them take out all their wallets, took all the cash out that they had, which is basically about $200+. And you know what the young lady was doing? She was doing stuff that you would do out here. While I'm going to film the police and stuff. You're in another country. Why are you pulling out your camera? They will shoot you on sight. You gotta remember, you're in a different country. People think that Mexico's the same as, no, it's not the same. It ain't the same. You pull out your camera on them, they are liable to shoot you, take your stuff up, and then ask about it later. You're in another country. Everything that you think is cool here doesn't fly in another country. That's part of the check-in. This is why,
real quick. Prime example, better than that one. Y'all remember the WNBA player who got with Weed Russia?
Oh, yep. Shout out to Brittany Griner.
Prime example of foolish behavior.
Yeah, no, so funny too. Still funny to me, but
you're gonna pull up to another place with very strict drug laws, and you're gonna bring drugs with you.
Mm-hmm.
Ignorance is astounding.
But
it's crazy because they should have known that. And those are things that when you go to different places, you have to understand where you're walking into. If you've never been to Arizona, you need to know what's happening in Arizona. Why do I say Arizona? Well, it doesn't have any like hood people and stuff. It's not just hood people you got to contend with. There's other people. There's other sets of people that you'll run into over there, especially if you're a minority.
You gotta watch out for cowboys.
You gotta watch out for a lot of different people.
Well, listen, technically, yeah, we're all rocking the same colors, stars and stripes, but we're all different people. That's where the danger lies. Facts.
But you gotta think about it too, because you can't just pull up in certain areas and expect they think I can't stand out in Canada waving a American flag.
You can, but you'll just get kicked out.
But figure of speech is, why would you put yourself in a risk knowing that
arrogance?
I mean, like you always say, what is people always trying to get? Fame, views, and everything else.
So the reason why people do it is because sometimes as a celebrity, you have to get out there. So,
kill it.
When we start taking the road show on a real road show, when we start taking the road show, why is it cold out here? Right. When we take the road show, when I say about the road show, we may do a real road show, meaning that sometimes we're here, Maybe we're in Irvine. Maybe we're in San Diego. Maybe we're in Riverside. Maybe we're in Ventura. Maybe we're in, Hollywood Hills. Maybe we're in different places.
Yeah, sometimes we go to the Hilton, sometimes we go to jail.
Yes. That's the problem. Because again, you could be in the hood or in jail or doing all that stuff. But when you take road shows, we have to know where we're walking into. Yep. I just can't just pull into like any spot in Irvine. I have to do a little bit of research. Oh, we could go to the Irvine Spectrum and do some stuff here. But we have to understand that we got to move a little bit different. When we get to San Diego, yeah, we can maybe be in downtown San Diego, but I can't pull up into like Oceanside. Or I can't pull up, in El Cajon, because El Cajon, if you're in the wrong spot in El Cajon, it's going to be a problem.
So here's
shout out to the people in El Cajon, by the way.
Here's a question, or a bit of an observation, perhaps. But, so you guys know what the term gatekeeping means, right? Keeping people out, right? And it can be referred to a lot of things. Typically it's referred to, say, like hobbies, where you're keeping out the tourists or the normies, whatever term you want to use. But truthfully, gatekeeping is everywhere, and I do mean everywhere. It's just different degrees of enforcement.
Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Oh yeah, I'm getting there. What I mean is what he's talking about ties into what I'm saying about the gatekeeping. Because say we do go to Arizona for whatever reason, right? Whether it's just shoot podcast or vacation. Yeah, we can't expect it to be received there as we're received here. No, I'm not saying we'd be rejected. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Arizona. But what I am saying is that people have the right to keep other people out. Now, I know how that may sound, referring to the segregation era of America. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about segregation. I'm not talking about racism, but I am talking about the fact that people... Yeah, I'm not talking about sunset towns. That's a whole different problem.
Yeah.
But,
Money back home.
You ain't lying, brother.
You okay?
Mm-hmm.
But what I am talking about is... Okay.
Keep on.
So
Mike and his pigment.
No, yeah. But, let's face it, Michael Jackson was far more famous than Prince ever was, in a way that few artists ever will be. Mm-hmm. Right? So if they were to do any collaboration whatsoever, whether it's during their music prime or afterwards or whatever, Michael Jackson would be kind of the one holding the cards here. Because say if they were to make an album together, it's Michael Jackson's name that would be seen first, and Prince, right? No discredit to Prince. This isn't about Prince. He's not a worse creator. He's just a lesser known one in comparison to Michael Jackson.
He's a different creator. I don't say worse or better. He's just
no, that's what I'm saying. He was different.
He was in a different field. I think Prince would have influenced like rock and alternative music.
Personally, from what we know about them, what we can know about them, because obviously we didn't know them personally, they were similar in a lot of ways, and we can't forget the very anti-establishment music Prince made, right? Which I think was very unique for its time, especially, prime example, another brick in the wall, a great example of kind of music Prince made. Versus the music Michael Jackson made. And I'm not saying Michael Jackson never made any music that wasn't, I would say, thought-provoking. Certainly did. Michael Jackson just wasn't cranking out bops for the sake of cash. He was making music that had a message. Yep. Right. It's just, I think, compared to those two, their ideologies were very different. And it would have been interesting to see what they could have came up with. I think it would have been an
interesting dynamic if they would have actually got that far to do it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I just couldn't see Mike or Prince because they're super traditional in their celebrity to actually do it, but I wouldn't put it past seeing a Michael Jackson, Kai Cenat. I kind of honest with you. Visually, I could kind of see that happening.
I can see,
but I think that it would be so. It just.
For me, I can see Michael Jackson.
And shout out to Kashi Knight because that boy doesn't get good.
Yes, I can see Michael Jackson collaborating with like a Bruno Mars.
Well,
I can see that happening.
Well, the thing is with Bruno, because even with Bruno, he's still old school celebrity style.
Yeah.
You don't get a chance to see.
Yeah.
He's basically one of those ones that when he pops out, it's a pop out. You don't see him.
Exactly. So that's the thing.
Now, shout out to my boy, James Fogelman. I know, he's big family to me. He's the one who does production for Bruno. You don't see Bruno unless you see him in the studio. You don't see Bruno. I'm telling you.
But that goes to my point. Even with Michael Jackson, you don't see Michael. You don't see Michael Jackson unless he pop up. And then when he does pop up, it's an event.
Right. It is a pop up.
So remember. So if you put the two dynamics together, what do you get?
Right. I think
a hell of a show.
You would give it a great show. Can
you imagine if you see Michael Jackson and Bruno Mars together on stage and that venue?
Imagine if they both did the Super Bowl.
Boy.
You want to talk about history.
So that's the other thing. We didn't think about that. That would have been good. Here's the thing. I didn't even think about that. Yes. Mike and Bruno Mars.
Usher.
No. Here's two shows that would have worked. If Mike would have been out there with Usher, and Usher let Mike get a couple of songs off.
Oh, you know he would have.
That would have shut that Super Bowl in Vegas. Oh, it would have shut that thing completely down. And don't get me wrong, Usher got busy that year for that Super Bowl run. But if he would have had Mike there, that thing, oh my God, that would have been like that's like passing the torch moment. Yeah, you want to say that. Now, let's go through some other artists real quick.
You got me imagining it.
I know, it would have been crazy. It would have been great. It would have been great.
No, what song, real quick, before we go, what song do you think they would have performed?
Rock My World.
Oh my God, that is so right.
That whole radio would have been.
Or remember when Justin Timberlake went on? You know Justin Timberlake and Mike had songs together. Yeah. That would have been fire
That's
too.
what I forgot.
That would have been fire too. I'm not going to lie. Now Prince, on the other hand, you know who he would have been cool with? You said it, or you said Bruno Mars. Let him do some of the riffs. Some of the guitar riffs for Locked Out of Heaven, and let Princess get busy. Oh my God, he would have been. And then you let Princess get a song off. No, not that, not Purple Rain. No. It's like no, not that. Let's get crazy. And rock that thing. Oh my God, he would have shut that. He would have shut that down. Let's go crazy. If he went with, if Prince knocked out Let's Go Crazy right now, in front of them people, he would have superseded that whole show. He would have had every 40-year-old and over would have been coming out of shoes and socks. On me. I promise you. They would have been coming out, all of it. Your mama's would have been coming out of shoes and socks for Prince. Because Prince is still, I'm going to be honest with you, he was still one of the ones that the girls love. And he still, even to this day, he still dressed like he dressed.
He said he got much more to come out here.
All right. Shut up. I don't want to go down that line because we'll be here all day. Few more artists. Some lesser known artists. You said, actually no, we ain't gonna go lesser artists. If Tupac and Biggie were still around, does it change the landscape of music or hip hop in general?
For Tupac, yeah.
Why?
Because you gotta think about it. Who in this generation now would you want to would think Tupac would want? Now.
Well,
what YN would you see? You know where I'm going with this.
So I think as far as like, if you were saying purely West Coast artists, Tupac was still around, people would traditionally say Kendrick. I would say probably not. I would think it would affect more like your Tigers, YGs, all of them. I think they would more benefit from being around Tupac. I think Kendrick would benefit from him just from a how to maneuver. But he already knows how to do that. He already had good people around him. He didn't need like Tupac to influence him to figure out how to maneuver. Kendrick knows when to get in the spotlight. He knows when to slide out of the spotlight. He knows not to do too much. He knows I go do this tour. I could go against the industry. I could go against these artists, still assert my dominance, and slide out the way. That's the thing about Kendrick I respect. Tupac, I think his impact wouldn't have necessarily been on music. I think Tupac, if he was around to this day, his impact would have been on movies. He, as well as DMX, and that was the other one, I think their impact on movies would have been so profound that they would have been, you would have started putting them in the conversations of Will Smith as far as like best rappers to turn actors. And there's been a bunch of them. Shout out to Common, shout out to LL Cool J, shout out to Queen Latifah, shout out to them who've done some amazing work as actors and actresses.
I love watching John Wick.
But I don't care what anybody will tell you. When it comes to rappers turned actors, it is Will, it is Ice-T, and it's everybody else.
Now here's the question.
And I'm being honest with you. But the thing is, what I mean by Tupac is, Tupac was well on his way. Tupac was the next one up. He was interacting. He was in movies with the A-listers. He was rocking with them. You just put him in one good role. Could you imagine that boy being in Baby Boy as opposed to Tyrese?
Yeah, I could have saw that.
It should have been Tupac, not Tyrese. Shout out to Tyrese, he did an amazing job. But guess who it should have been? It should have been Tupac.
I could have saw Tupac.
Now,
Tupac as opposed to Ludacris. You can see that, or as opposed to Tyrese. Think about that. So Tyrese's roles.
Hell, I could have seen Tupac in Training Day when he was in Washington.
No. Because there's not a real role you can put him in. Because what you gonna do? Take Snoop out and put Snoop did a Snoop role, and that was too great. No, too great.
No, leave the two dynamics together.
No, you can't. There was no way you can add him in. But you still, yeah. But the Tupac was so versatile. Remember, he did Above the Rim. He did comedy. He did the romantic stuff with Poetic Justice. So he was so versatile. He did all these movies in his short time. He has a catalog.
Yeah, he was even on the Different Worlds.
Imagine him.
Yeah.
Exactly. Imagine him going into some of these movies where there's more comedy based, when you let him just be funny for a little bit.
Him and Marlon Wayans would have.
Oh, it would have been nuts.
And Marlon said that too.
It would have been nuts. It would have been you know how much of a callback that would have been? They were in Above the Rim. And for Marlon to come back and say, look, we gotta get another movie off. Let's get a couple more movies off. You know he would have been down. That's the impact that Tupac would have had. Biggie, on the other hand.
Oh, here's real quick. Before we go in, here's a hypothetical. Do you think, Okay. Do you think, how different, please eat that. How different do you think, how do I put this? Do you think Friday would have been more iconic if they replaced Ice Cube with Tupac?
No. And the movie?
It's okay, true.
So, the reason why that you cannot do that any other way is because the way that movie was written and scripted. Shout out to DJ Pooh. That's my dog. I know DJ Pooh in real life. That's my dog. The way that they scripted that, you couldn't have put that no other way even if you wanted to. Now, could you have had like a cameo with him in there, here and there? Yes. Now, you could have still probably pulled it off, it just probably wouldn't have nearly been as funny. Because one of the things is, you could have, instead of having Clifton Powell as Pinky, think about having Tupac as Pinky. Or, let's say in part 2, I'll give you some examples. So let's say you didn't put, Mike Epps and it was Tupac instead of Mike Epps. Does it work? Why doesn't it work? Mike Epps is too dynamic. And that's not a knock against Tupac. Because I know Tupac could be funny in those roles. We've seen him do it. That's the whole thing. We've seen him in funny roles. We know. People forget that. People get caught up in the, when we talk about celebrities earlier, people don't know the real person. People don't know that as much as a hood dude as Tupac was, he was still a businessman. He was still funny. He was still more funny than not funny. It's just life changed him, so you couldn't see that all the time because he had to put up the persona. But when he was just sitting there with his boys, hanging out, away from Suge, away from all that stuff, just hanging with him and his boys, people said he was really funny.
You know what would have been damn great? I don't know what they would have made, but like Tupac and Dave Chappelle.
They would have been hilarious. They would have been hilarious. Because I think that Tupac would have had.
Do you have any idea how amazing that would have been?
Tupac would have had so much of a dynamic effect on a lot of things, movies, TV. He would have been great on a lot of those things. Now, Biggie, on the other hand, I think that he would have impacted music on the East Coast so much that you would have almost skipped the generation of music. You know what generation of music you would have skipped? Mumble rap. Mumble rap, I'm going to tell you right now, Tupac, Big, and Jay-Z would have still stayed in the pocket rapping. Mumble rap wouldn't have been there. I guarantee it. Because Tupac and Big would have still been dropping hit after hit after hit after hit. And it wouldn't have been no, I ain't putting no mumble rappers on my stuff. You gotta drop the bars or you ain't doing it. But then you would have also had other people that would have benefited from them being around. So Big was around. You know who gets more shine? Little Kim. You know who gets more shine? Lil Steve's. You wanna know why they get more shine? Because he directly impacted Little Kim's career. Little Kim should be where Nicki Minaj is now. Little Kim should be where Nicki Minaj is now. If Nicki Minaj is the pinnacle of female rap, and she is at this point in time, I don't care what anybody says, it's not Megan, it's not Cardi B, it's still Nicki Minaj until otherwise stated, who is considered to be pound for pound probably the best overall female rapper package. Not gonna say she's the best rapper, I gonna say she's the best package as far as like overall sales, impact, all this stuff. She's the best. If Big was around, Kim is Nicki. Nicki doesn't get there. Nicki would be good, but she doesn't get there because Little Kim would have been so dominant. Because remember, in the 90s, 2000s, Kim, she surpassed Foxy Brown. Foxy Brown was supposed to be the next one up. Lil Kim leapfrogged her quickly. Jay-Z wanted Foxy Brown. Big wanted Lil Kim. Guess who won? Kim. Because Kim was dropping bombers after bombers after bombers. Here's the other problem with that. Don't get me wrong. Foxy Brown gets busy. Don't get it messed up. People are, y'all kids is back that you know to understand what some of these artists have done. Y'all probably don't even know who Lil Kim is, I'll be honest with you, because she's been so far removed from music that y'all don't even know who Lil Kim is. Go look at her catalog. She dropped banger after banger after banger for like female rap. She had female rap on a chokehold until she had to let it go because of Big stuff. Yeah, until after Big stuff. And then you had certain artists like Trino try to get in there, couldn't do nothing. It took Nicki Minaj. Don't get me wrong, Trino wasn't the one who held things down for a period of time. And she was dropping some of these guys here, I'm not a Miami and stuff, but she couldn't rap. She couldn't rap. You know what she was? You know who Trina was the blueprint for? Cardi B. I came out the strip club. I'm a little bit of celeb. I got a little bit of body, and I got somebody who can get some bars off for me. She was the blueprint for Cardi B. Lil' Kim was the blueprint for Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj was just able to pick the right people and capitalize and stay and be dominant. Because she could actually write bars, and she could actually do versatile music. Lil' Kim could have done the same exact thing. Big just wasn't there. And here's the other impact. I think if Big was there, I'm gonna say this, and I'm not trying to be funny, but kind of funny, but not funny. I think if Big was around, Diddy's not in jail.
Elaborate.
I think if Big was around,
Swallow that one.
if Big was around, Diddy ain't in jail.
Diddy wouldn't have been in jail, but he would have been in jail, but he wouldn't have been.
He would have been protected.
Okay, well here's the question. Here's the question. If Biggie was around, would Diddy still be the Diddy?
Yes, absolutely. But
Do you think Biggie would have?
But you want to know why? Because Diddy had Big was the trump card. Big was the one that every music exec, just like Tupac, just like a few other artists, wanted to get their hands on. Big was getting ready to be an independent artist. But if Diddy was able to keep Big around at Bad Boy, he's the name, he's the face, he's the money maker. Guess what Big would have done? He would have shielded Diddy from all this stuff, and he would have never gotten caught. Because they would have said that your artist is too valuable. It would have been no way for them to get to him. Yeah. No way. There would have been no way to get to him because he's too valuable. You think Ciroc would have been going on it? You know what would have happened? Diddy wouldn't have to be the face of Ciroc. You know who would have been the face of Ciroc? Big was the face of Ciroc. You put Ciroc in all the videos. All Diddy had to do was just keep dancing.
Now, if Diddy was still here, you think Bad Boy would still be the number one spot?
Bad Boy would have been the destination because it wasn't about Diddy, it was about Big. Mace rock with Big, Cameron and them rock with Big. Even though they hated it, they rock with Big.
You think they would have been at this year versus? But you would have put them in the versus with no
they wouldn't, I would be honest, no. So the only conversation that Big would have had as far as like a verse, that's a very good question by the way. I will give one, Big and Tupac respectively. In a versus situation, the only people that Big and Tupac could have really battled besides each other would have been Jay-Z, Kanye, Drake, Kendrick. That's the only four. And that's not a knock to any other artist. That's not a knock to Lil Wayne who got hits and stuff. Those are the only four that you can make a conversation with when it comes to viable hits. When it comes to verses, I know Jay-Z said he's untouchable. Just about. The only person who I say is untouchable is Kanye. He has too many hits. He has too many. Jay-Z has a bunch of hits too. Drake has a bunch of hits too. You know who has a bunch of hits who nobody wants to mess with? Ludacris. Nobody wants to mess with him. He got too many hits. He got too many club hits. He got too many of them. Nobody want to, that's why nobody want to put his name out there. Snoop, I'm going to tell you right now. Snoop could get into a verse with something. You know what a good verse would have been? Him and T.I. Would have been a fantastic verse. T.I.'s catalog versus Snoop's catalog, 10 for 10. The South versus yes. You know who Outkast should be doing a versus against? Outkast, Run DMC. You wanna know why? Old school, new school. Run DMC got hits. And you have Run DMC do beats to the rhyme. No. Trust me. Run DMC, this is why you can't talk about the low part. Run DMC would wash anything.
That's the only song I would love to hear.
Run DMC would have gave Outkast a run for its money. They have a catalog and a DJ. Outkast have a catalog and a DJ. This is why they don't want to mess with certain artists. They know, if you even talk about it, Run DMC will do it. That goes into another person who passed away. If DMC, from Run DMC, wouldn't pass away, music would have changed. Why? Because it was two DJs who were the premier DJs in that era. Two. Grandmaster Flash is a godfather, but he wasn't considered to be the best. But shout out to Grandmaster Flash. He's a pioneer, and anybody who's a DJ will always respect him. Anytime I see that boy at the DMC at the music convention, I always show my respect to him. It's Jam Master J and DJ Jazzy J.
Yeah.
Anybody who's the DJs, when they say the DJ, so you can talk to DJ Craze, you can talk to Scratch Bass, you can talk to all these DJs.
Was it last year or the year before last year? It was DJ Jazzy Jazz. It was that show they did.
Yes,
they did it last year or the year before last.
They did it last year.
It was last year. DJ, he was getting.
I'm telling you. If Jam Master J was here, it would be Jam Master J and Jazzy Jeff. But guess what would have happened? Run DMC would have been viable for a lot longer. The reason why they broke up was literally because of Jam Master J. If Jam Master J wouldn't have passed, Run DMC would have crossed over into the 90s, and it would have probably made it to the 2000s. But they would have been in the 90s.
They would have cut off at
they would have cut off around 97. They would have cut off in 97. The reason why? Because they were the traditional.
He was the last one on. Yeah, everybody in that audience.
Jazzy Jeff is, I promise you, shout out to Jeff.
He was heavy. LL Cool J stand up. He was in the start in the first.
Shout out to Jeff.
That's how good he
is. Pound for pound, the best DJ on this planet. I don't care what anybody says.
It was Kid Free there.
Every single DJ defer to him. He's that dude. So, but if Jam Master J was alive, Jam Master J would have been that dude. Honest answer. So other people, there's other people who's in that mix. So, if you think about what actors passed away, if they were around, Bernie Mac. That's a good one. So if Bernie Mac was around, what would happen?
You tell you
he would still be viable. How many movies would you see him still be? No, Bernie Mac would have been still viable.
He would have been on everybody's stuff.
He still would have been viable.
I think this may be a bit strange, but if he lived to be of more of a elderly age, I think I could have seen him do more serious stuff in his career. Taking a step back from the comedic film and kind of doing something a little more serious.
Yes, and he was in that because he did some of that serious stuff. Even though he still did it in his own little comedic way, but it was still, he was being serious. But it was still fun.
Well, kind of like, an example, like, the movie Saw 10?
Yeah.
Chris Rock, right? I mean, when you hear Chris Rock, you're not thinking of the Saw movies, right? But here he was, starring in Saw 10.
You know who would have been good in? Sick.
Bernie Mac?
Yeah.
Right?
He would have been great. One of the OGs and shit. Oh my god.
You know what? They just got a nomination.
No, they doing their thing. But see, that's what I said. When you talk about pillars, you said what the pillars have changed. Because when
he takes off his belt.
Oh, that's funny. Because what Vic was saying is that the pillars of industries change? The answer is yes, it does change. If these people were alive, the pillars change. If Aaliyah was alive, Beyonce is not the most dominant. She's sharing the spotlight she's sharing the spotlight. If Big and Tupac is there, Jay-Z is not the top, it's not the top dog.
At that time, nobody touched him.
No, you
couldn't nobody touch him.
Beyonce would have been there, but you would have been in the mix. So it was three. So it was a three. It would have been Aaliyah
or TLC.
That's the top. What are you talking about? And here's it. That's another person who got impacted. When Left Eye passed away, TLC was done. Just like Run DMC was done when they lost Jam and Jay, TLC was done when they lost Left Eye. Left Eye was the heart and soul of that group. TLC is torn. Matter of fact, I will probably go see TLC in December when they're out in concert in December. They are torn. They're gonna no, that's a different tour. But TLC is touring with Shaggy, by the way. So they're gonna be outside. I may go see them late December and go see them. Why? Not because I think they're going to do great. I just want to see what the impact is without Left Eye. Because Left Eye was the heart and soul. She was the ball. She was the one.
They tried, but it wasn't one.
But when you think about how the Pillars have changed, the Pillars would have been so different. Aaliyah would have been the top dog in music, not Beyonce. She would have been getting all the pop. She would have been in movies. All the movies that Beyonce was getting, Aaliyah had movies already. She was already on her way. But then that wasn't even the best one.
Romeo Must Die.
Romeo Must Die was Romeo Must Die.
That was a high school.
Romeo Must Die.
Like a love story.
To people that Aaliyah could work with any group. You know who she would have impacted? She would have impacted Meg Good. She would have impacted what's her name? No. She would have impacted all the female actresses. She would have impacted all the female actresses. All the female black actresses. She would have been in those roles. She could have been in The Best Man. She could have been in Yes. You wanna know why? You know the role she would have had? What was old girl's role? Remember Best Man, first one. Remember the girl who started off as strippers? Guess who gets impact? Guess if Aaliyah was in that role and then she's the one who changed. No, think about that. Could you easily see Aaliyah in that role and being the one to change old boy's life and then she would have been killing people. Think about that. No, I want to show this. I'm showing this to prove your point. If these people were there, the Pillars would have changed. It wouldn't be where it is now. Not to say where we are now is like terrible. The landscape would just be different. I think that you still would have more traditional things going on. I just think that, how crazy would it have been if you would have saw Aaliyah on a Twitch stream with somebody. You can easily see it because she was cool enough to make that happen. She would have been able to adapt. Some of the other ones probably wouldn't have been able to adapt.
Alright, boys.
No, we ain't done yet. I got one more thing to talk about. Because we ain't even talked about it. First of all, for the people who've been watching along in the back PVC Podcast, we got nothing to get down. But this is man's birthday tomorrow. No, we ain't no. You know good and daggone well we ain't leaving the spot without talking about this man's birthday.
Believe it or not, he's turning 21.
This boy put on all the shine and all this stuff. He's shining for his birthday. So look at him. He's trying to floss in front of the boy. He could have told me we was going to the shine day. I would have brought some of mine out, but it's okay. But
it's okay.
How's it feel to be pity? It's okay.
If it ain't up there,
So tell us about your birthday, man. How's it feel like to be older?
Oh, it's tomorrow.
We know.
But
tomorrow is today.
It's just another day. As you get older, you get wiser, you get more wiser, you get more, I'm not saying more smarter, but you get more well connected to certain things. As I'm getting I see the differences I was when I was 48 versus now 38.
I'm gonna give you the platform. So, what have you learned this year? From last birthday to this birthday, what did you learn this year?
All things can be good, but certain different things
Say it again for the kids in the back.
All things can go good as far as value, or all good things can always be different ways. So that's one thing that I have to appreciate. When things go good, can always go good. It can certainly be taken down.
You want that written on the cake?
Yes. So we can put it on the cake. Happy birthday, Paul.
What?
We give it and we take it to him.
Now give me a slice.
But as you progress, when you have a certain individuals in your corner, you will adapt well. So that's one thing I will say for this 30th birthday is I have adapted to the place where I want to be. Still continue to sit here with my boys on the podcast, still working on other projects, still being able to transition, still be able to still be relevant, still be able to working on becoming even more of a better man than I was before as I am now.
I agree with that. I just want to give you the platform for a few minutes because it's your birthday. We have to do that, of course.
And then too, because I remember, the most important thing is relationship.
Oh, you actually, okay.
Bread, milk, and juice.
Communication.
Better get it right.
Physical attraction.
Oh, this rookie.
It's the third one.
How many times? I mean,
It's the third one I always forget.
man.
And I was talking about I told somebody, my boy always tell me this, and I always forget the third one.
How are you going to forget the third? Man, they're all equally as important.
So for my birthday.
Okay, for the kids in the back, I want y'all to put it in the comment section below. What is the 3 rules to a relationship? Because this fool don't see. This fool been saying this forever, and then all of a sudden he gonna draw a blank when it's important. Communication, trust, physical attraction. One more time.
Communication, trust, and physical attraction.
Man, you better get it right. I'm still trying to talk about it.
Communication, trust, and physical attraction.
God, boy, how you gonna forget trust and equally as important?
Besides that,
Can you hear us through trap?
Yeah, he's too caught in the attractiveness part.
I'm all caught up in the game. Communication, trust,
He ain't even got
attraction.
he get communication, he get the physical attraction, and forget the trust part.
Trust goes a long way.
No, you don't understand. I said trust me. I never said I trusted you.
Wow.
But besides that, all this, it's been an honor and privilege every day to sit here with my brothers, communication, trust, and physical attraction.
And boy, don't be saying physical attraction when referring to you can say communication and trust, boy.
But besides that,
He's trying to say pussies.
Stop it. But besides that, like I said, it's always an honor and privilege to sit here with my boy Victor and Cam, continue to make history. Shout out to our 135 subscribers.
135 subscribers. Appreciate each one of y'all rocking along with us, of course.
Extra subscriber, on my live. So that's another conversation we're having. But besides that, just thank you guys. Rocking in my corner.
Thank you for being here.
Always. Good talking.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today on the PVC Podcast Crew. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for spending time with us. And thank you for being with us for so long that you get to witness Paul's birthday. Granted, it is tomorrow, but still, thank you for being here with us. Thank you for hearing our words.
I've talked always. Well, now you look like a TikToker. He walking around trying to... Does your girl do this?
Hey, you know what? No, you're falling. Your new name. His new name now is Paul Burgundy.
That's what I'm saying. It's not your beauty. It's your beauty. Go ahead.
But in all seriousness, thank you, dear viewer, for watching us and spending time with us. You could be anywhere else doing anything else, something productive or something vain. It's up to you. But you're supposed to spend with us, and we hope you got entertainment out of this. We hope you come back, and if you don't come back, well, we hope you remember us. And if you don't remember us, well, damn, we can't do anything about that. But in all seriousness, please, if you enjoyed this, check out our other episodes. There's quite a bit of content for you to catch up on if it's your first episode. But before we end it, we have to end it properly with Cameron. Please take us out.
Freaky. We're gonna get there.
Damn, he got 2?
I ain't double miking. I gotta mess up too. First of all, pause.
I'm gonna be quiet on that one.
First of all, pause, fool. That didn't come out the right way. Anyway, before we get up out of here, shout out to all the subscribers.
That doesn't get to be a birthday wish.
We get out. Shout out to all 135 subscribers, like Buckboy Paul said. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. Shout out to all of our affiliates, of course. Shout out to World Entertainment, Jason Langan and boys. Well, we're going to be outside in a couple of weeks. We're getting ready to prep for Hilltop Raw 4. Hilltop Raw 3 is on the way. I'm going to get that out pretty shortly here. But we are actually starting to do a casting call for Hilltop Raw 4. So if you're looking to be a part of the project, you can contact them through World Heat Entertainment, or you can contact us, and we will make sure we'll get you set up to get the audition times and stuff. If you so choose to. If you already have it prepared, we would like to have pictures, headshots, anything like that, if you want to be doing stuff like that. Outside of that stuff, shout out to Dirty Joe, of course, shout out to him. Shout out to all the rest of each and every one of y'all who are rocking along with us. I know this is kind of a crazy conversation, but hopefully you did.
Gotta make that announcement. Shout out to our boy Zay. I talked to him yesterday.
Oh, hey, how is he?
He's doing well. He's gonna be back on the table with us.
Hey, tell Zay.
Tell him he can finish the walk.
Yes, tell Zay.
He's on the apple. He said
Yeah. Tell Zay.
My boy
He
yesterday. He missed us and stuff.
said, yo,
we're gonna get you back on the table soon,
we
Zay.
gotta get down. I got some conversations I want to have with you. So as soon as you get some time, come sit down with us, of course. But yeah, we're gonna be outside. Probably next week we're gonna be outside again. We're gonna be talking some different topics and stuff. We didn't get to none of the serious stuff, but we will. Don't worry, we just want to get something lighthearted, get something a little bit different than what we've been normally doing. But outside of that, for my man Paul, for my man Vic, my name is Cam, aka Nerd Boy Fresh. Like always, God above everything. Till the next time, family, we will do this again soon.
Much love and respect.
Salute.